Hello everyone, good evening. Today we're learning Bekama Daf Tzadik. So we're going to start from Daf Pei Tesom on the base, about 12 lines up. Leima Takonas Usha Tanoihi. Let's say the machloik, if the din of Takonas Usha is such a takona or not, it's a machloikis Tanoim. And let's recap very quickly, what does it mean Takonas Usha? A woman who comes in with a property into a marriage, it's called Nichse Milug. And that property, if the husband divorces her or the husband dies, goes back to the woman. But all the time that the property is still in the hands of the husband, he eats the fruit. And now if this woman sold this karka to someone else, and does it go to him or not if the woman died first? If the woman died, does it go to the loikeach, the one who bought it, or does the husband keep it? So Takonas Usha is that the Baal Moitzi Miyad HaLekucha, that the field stays in the Rishus HaBaal. That's Takonas Usha. So suggests the Gemara that this shaila, is Takonas Usha or not, it's a machlokes tanoim. The Toni Choda, it says in one brayso, Avdei Milug, slaves of Milug, meaning that the woman brought into the marriage, that the husband uses these slaves. But if the husband dies or divorces her, goes back to the woman, Yoitzim b'shen v'ayin la'isha. If the woman knocked out the teeth or the eye, that normally makes, if the owner of the slave takes out of an Eved, if Eved Knani, his teeth or his eye, he goes out free. So we say over here in this brayso, that it goes out, Yoitzim b'shen v'ayin la'isha, v'loi la'ish. If the wife knocked out the slave's eye or teeth, he goes out free because she's considered the owner. And if the husband did it, no, because he's not the owner. V'tanya idoch, and we learned in another brayso, lo la'ish, v'loi la'isha. No, the slave never goes out if his eye or teeth gets knocked out. Doesn't matter if it's the woman, or doesn't matter if it's the husband who knocked out the teeth. So the Bnei Yeshiva fought, the Kule Alma, everyone hold, and the rest of Shas, Kinyan Peres, that the husband eats the fruit of this Eved, meaning he could use the Eved until he divorces his wife. Lavki Kinyan Aguf Dome, it's not strong like Kinyan of the capital that the woman has. And therefore, really, the woman is the owner. So l'chora, if the woman is the owner, if she knocks out his teeth, he goes out free. So why does one brayso say that it goes out free for the woman and one says it doesn't go out at all? This is pshat, the machloikas between the braysos. The man the one who holds that it goes out for the woman when she knocks out his teeth. Less late Takonas Usha. It doesn't hold Takonas Usha. It's a normal din of kinyan peres. And since a woman has a kinyan aguf and kinyan peres is not strong, she's the main owner. So if she knocks out his teeth, her slave, he goes out free. Umando maloi leish veloi leishon, the shitter who holds that the slave never goes out. Islay takonas tusha, he hold that by nichse milug rabbonon made the takona that it's not in the woman's possession. It's weaker than a normal case of nichse kinyan aguf, and therefore, if let's say she sells it, the husband can be moitzi miyad halekuchas if she dies. So also in such a case, that's why, because of the takona that Rabbanan made her strength weak, if she knocks out his eye, she's no yotze lecheres the eved. So lechera, that's a machlokes between the braysos. So the Gemara loy, no. The kula alma, everyone is lo takona susha. Everyone hold of the takona of Usha that we took away the power from the woman. Elo kan, what's the machlokes between the braysos? Kan koidim takona, the braysos that says that the woman, it knocked out the teeth of this slave, he goes out of Cherusit before the takona, and therefore Kinyan Haguf is strong like everywhere, and therefore she goes out of Cherus. Kan, in the brayso where it says where the woman took out his teeth, he doesn't go to Cherus, it's Lachar Takona because we weakened her Kinyan. Said the Gemara Be'ibo Yisema, I'll tell you another explanation how to explain the machlokes between these two braysos. Idi, they're both talking about la'achar takona, after the takona of Usha, where the woman is weakened in her kinyan. The isle le takonas isha, and they both hold of the takona of Usha. Elo, what's the machloikis? Leman doma leisha v'loy leisha brisa that says that the slave goes out free when the woman knocks out his teeth. My time kedirova. It's like Rava. Rava said hegdish chometz v'shichur mafkim midei shibud. Meaning, a man took a loan, and he said to the malva, to the one who owes the money, about a certain ox. He makes a poitiki. Means this ox is meshobed to your choiv. And now, so this ox, if he sells it or something, it goes to the malva if the time comes and he didn't pay. But what happened if the loiva went and made a kodosh? He said this ox should be to Beis Hamikdash, this cow should be to Beis Hamikdash, this sheep should be to Beis Hamikdash. So hekdesh is so strong, it's mafkia midei shibud. Even though that this cow is meshubed to the malva, it's mafkia. It takes away the shibud and it becomes hekdesh, and you can't take it away from hekdesh anymore. And the same story about chometz, that a nochri lent Yisrael money, and the pikodim is a piece of bread, a bottle of whiskey, and it's still in the Jewish person's house, and now Pesach came, and Pesach makes it osa ba'ano. So even though that it's meshubah to the goy, it still says it's osa ba'ano now, and it's not the goy's anymore, and it becomes osa ba'ano, and the guy has to pay the goy with other monies. That's chometz. And shichur is the same idea. Someone has a slave and he made the meshubad to someone, and now the loiva, the one who owes the money, who has a slave, was meshacher as this eved. He says the meshucher, he gave him a get shichur. It's mafkia midei shibud. It pushes away the shibud of the slave to that person, to the malveh. And now even when the malveh is coming to be goyver his choiv, you can't go to the slave and tell him you're mine. No, the slave is free, and the loiva has to pay other money. So therefore we're saying that the man d'Omo holds that for the Isha he goes out, Pshat is, even though that there is Takonos Usha, that the woman has a weak ownership, still because she was Meshachar him, she knocked out his teeth, Shichur is Mafkia Midei Shibud, even though that's Meshubah to the husband, the slave, with Takonos Usha, the Maisa Shichur of knocking out his teeth is mafkia midei that shibud, and therefore the slave goes out free. And the other man Malachara doesn't hold of Rava of hekdesh chometz v'shichur mafkia midei shibud. So now that's pshat in the two machloikis between the two brises. Said the Gemara, leima de Rava lechara lefi what you telling me now tanoihi. It's a machloikis tanoim, and the brise holds that the woman who knocked out his teeth is no moitzi midei shibud, holds that shichur is no mafkia midei shibud. So the Gemara, no. The kula alma islu derova. Everyone holds that shichur is mafkia midei shibud. V'hocha, the shaila is almur rabbanon l'shibud debal. The shaila is between the two brises. How strong did the rabbanon make the shibud? Lefi the brisa that says that the woman who knocked out the teeth, the ayvet goes out. It's like Rava that says that shichur is mafkia midei shibud. But the brisa hold that it doesn't go out for the woman. It's because Rabbanon made the shibud of Takonos Usha so strong that it's meshubah to the husband so strong that even a shichur is no mafkia midei shibud. When is shichur mafkia midei shibud? In a normal shibud. But when Rabbanon made a very strong shibud like Takonos Usha, even shichur is no mafkia midei such a type of shibud. I'll tell you another way to understand it. The kula alma lesle le'ane tanoi Takonos Usha. All these tanoim, both these brises who hold that if a woman knocked out the teeth, doesn't matter if the brisa who holds that she goes al lecheres, doesn't matter the brisa who holds that she doesn't go al lecheres, doesn't hold of Usha. And what's a shaila? What's a machloikis between them? The ochel, it's a shaila in the whole shas. Bikini and peres, kikini nagufto mikom mifligi. The machloikis is peres and kini and peres that the husband gets a peres of the slave. Is it strong like kini naguf, and therefore he's called the owner? Or at least the woman's not called the owner, and therefore if the woman took out his teeth, he's no yoytze lecherus. And the other man, the Omar, holds that when the woman takes out the slave's teeth, he goes out lecheres is because he holds kinyan peres is not strong. That the husband eats peres is not strong, and kinyan aguf is strong, and therefore the woman who has kinyan aguf, she's the owner, and therefore if she knocks out his teeth, he's yoytze lecheres. We plucked on this machloikas of these two brises is the Tanoi of these other Tanoi, like we saw early on the Rabbi Yochanan and Shlokish Acholik about kinyan peres kinyan aguf. It's a machloikas Tanoi. The Tanya we learned in the brisa, Moicher Abdul Acher, Reuven sold his slave to Shimon, Uposak Imoy, and he told Shimon in the deal, when they closed the deal, he told him, Menas, I'm leaving a clause in the deal, that I'm selling him to you today, Reuven tells Shimon, but for the next 30 days he'll still work in my house. I still have a wedding to do, I need his help. After 30 days he'll be totally yours. And now, there's a special din, if someone kills his slave, he's chayav misa. But there's a special chiddush the Torah tells you that if the slave gets injured and he stays alive for 24 hours and then he dies, so the owner doesn't get killed. It's a special din about your own slave. So here, Reuven sold it to Shimon and he told Shimon, I want this slave still for 30 days. And now we're going to see what's the din if Reuven killed the slave or Shimon killed the slave. Do we have the din of the special chiddush HaTorah that the owner of a slave who killed him is not chayav misa if the slave survived for 24 hours? Reuven, who still has him for 30 days, he's considered the owner, and therefore if he killed the slave and the slave stayed alive for 24 hours, he's potter. Because now in these 30 days he's under his control. He tells him what to do to the slave. So what does he hold? Kosov Aramea. He holds kinyan peres, because here Reuven has kinyan peres. It's not actually his slave. He sold the slave to Shimon. It's kinyan aguf. It's strong. That's the real owner, and therefore he's considered the owner, and he has a special chiddush HaTorah of yomi domi. It's like that. Rabbi Yehuda holds sheini yeshna bedin yomi. No, Shimon, if he kills the slave, has a din yomi, not Reuven. Why? Because he's the real owner. Kosova, he holds kinyan peres of Reuven, Lavki kinyan aguf domi. It's not strong like kinyan aguf, and therefore Shimon, who has kinyan aguf, he's the owner and he has din yomayim. Rabbi Yossi says, Shneim yeshnam bedin yomayim. They both have the special p'tur of the Torah that we say that if the slave stayed alive for 24 hours, that they don't get killed. There, mipnei shou tachtov, Reuven, because the slave is still under his control, but there, Shimon, mipnei shou kaspo, because it's his belongings. So says the Gemara, what's pshat in Rabbi Yossi? Misapkele, he has a sofek, kinyan peres, kinyan aguf domi or loi, kinyan aguf domi. He has a sofek, he doesn't know what's the din, if what's stronger, kinyan peres or kinyan aguf, and therefore, the sofek nefashas lokel, since we don't know who's considered the owner, so we say maybe it's kinyan peres or Reuven, maybe it's kinyan aguf like by Shimon, and therefore by sofek killing someone, we say la'okel, and we won't kill not Reuven and not Shimon. Doesn't matter who killed the slave if the slave stayed alive for 24 hours. Rabbi Eliezer, he says, Shneim einu bedin yomi yomayim. Both not Reuven and not Shimon have the special chiddush. Why not? Zelefi sheinu tachtov Shimon, because it's not under his control in those 30 days. V'zeh and Reuven lefi sheinu kaspo, because it's not his belongings. Omar Rava, my time at Rabbi Eliezer, what's the source of Rabbi Eliezer for his din? Omar Kro, it said in the pasuk over there about this din of yomi yomayim, ki kaspo you, because it's his money. Money, something that's your ownership fully, that's specially for him. And over here, since Reuven is not full owner because he only has peres, and Shimon is not full owner because he only has guf, therefore they're both not kaspo yamiyuchad loy, so they're both not included in this chiddush HaTorah of yomi yomayim. Said the Gemara, Keman Oslo, who do they go like? What are we going to learn? Had the Omar Meimah, this is what Meimah said, Ish v'isha, a man and a woman, Shemochu b'nichse milug, who sold the nichse milug of the woman. Doesn't matter if the woman sold, doesn't matter if the husband sold, lo yosu v'lo klum. They didn't do anything. So the Gemara command, who did that go? Rabbi Eliezer, he goes like Rabbi Eliezer, because Rabbi Eliezer holds, he says the Torah is mechadish tal, so when you have kinyan, that you need katzpo yamiyuchad loy, that you need, for ownership, it needs to be fully yours. And if it's not fully yours, you're not considered the owner. So therefore the woman can't sell because it's not fully hers because she doesn't have Paris. And the husband can't sell because it's not fully hers because he doesn't have the guf. And Rashi explains it's not like Shutfim who one of them sold that each one's 50% on the whole thing, because he's 50% on the whole thing. Here the woman doesn't have anything to do with the Paris and the husband has nothing to do with the guf. Says the Gemara, Man Tana, who said Lahoda Toner Rabbanon to this Brisa? We learned to Brisa. Who is it? Is it Rabbi Yehuda? Is it Rabbi Meir? Is it Rabbi Yossi? Is it Rabbi Eliezer? Misha Chetzi Eved v'Chetzi Ben Churim, a slave who's, let's say he belonged to two people, to Reuben and Shimon, and now Shimon made him free, so he's half free and half not free. V'chein Eved shel Shnei Shutfim, a slave that belongs to two people, En Yotzim b'Roshei Yevarim Sheinim Chorizurim. If Reuben knocked out his slave who was only half his, or Reuven or Shimon or Shutfim, and one of them knocked out his teeth, Roshei Yevarim Sheinim Chorizurim means like things that if you knock out they never grow back again, like a finger, a teeth, an eye. Who holds that this is not called a good ownership if you're shutuf and the evet doesn't go out free? Mordechai told Ravashi, this is what they say in the name of Rava. Rabbi Eliezer, it's Rabbi Eliezer that we just learned. Miloy Omar Rabbi Eliezer, didn't Rabbi Eliezer say Kaspo Yamiyuchad Loy, that to have the din yoyim it has to be full ownership? Ochenami, also here, Avdoi, when it says in the Pasuk about Shem V'ayin, it says Avdoi. And we dash it from the word Avdoi, Amiyuchad Loi, the one who's fully his. And if you have a shutter for ownership in it, it's not fully yours, and you're not yoytze b'Shem V'ayin. Ad kan divra Gemara. We got to the Mishnah of Tzadik Omad Aleph. It says the Mishnah, it's talking about all different situations where someone causes embarrassment to his friend. How much does he need to pay? Someone who blew a shofar in his friend's ear, or he slapped him on his ear. He has to pay a selah. That's the amount he has to pay for boishes. Rabbi Yehuda, no, only a money you need to pay. Sosroi, he slapped him. You need to pay 200 zuz. With his back of your hand he slapped him, so it's more embarrassing. He has to pay 400 zuz. He pulled his ear, or he was poigim in his ear. Tolash besara, he pulled his hair out. Rokak v'geaboroikoi, he spat at him and the spit hit him. Ever talusim, or he took off his cloak and made him with no clothes and embarrassed him. If he pulled off the tichel, the hair covering of a woman in public, and embarrassed her, noisin, he gives Abramo zuz. That's a payment that he has to pay for all these types of embarrassment. 400 zuz. This is the rule. It all depends on the covet of the person who caused the busha, and the person who got the busha. And the Gemara is going to explain why is this coming. Is it coming to add, or is it coming to say less? Omar Rabbi Akiva says, Afil anim sheb'Yisrael, even poor people in Jewish people, roim oisam, we look at them, ki'ilu im noichorim, as if they free people, she'yordum nechaseim, that they just lost the money, shebnei Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, and the Bakovadika people, and you look at them, Rabbi Akiva saying, you give them a higher value, even though that they poor. Umaisa be'achad, there was a story once upon a time, Sheporo Isa Isha Bashuk, he pulled off a woman's hair covering. Boss Lifei Rabbi Akiva, she came in front of Rabbi Akiva to say, this guy embarrassed me. V'chivoi litin l'arbamai zuz, like we learned in Omad Aleph in the Mishnah, that you pay 400 zuz for such an embarrassment. So Rabbi Akiva said to the man, go pay her 400 zuz. Omar loi, the man told Rabbi Akiva, Rebbe, my master, my Rebbe, tell this man, give me time to pay this, it's a big amount, I need time to save up. But Nosan knows man, he said, okay, take 2 months and pay her however much time he gave her. Shomra, he waited for her, he made us al Pesach Hatzera till she was standing on the outside of a garden, the Shova Esakad Bifonea, and he broke a little vessel with oil inside, Boike Issa Shemen, and there was a small value of oil of Issa. Gilsos Roisha, she uncovered her hair covering, Ve'oiso metapachas, and she was catching the oil that spilled on the floor, Manachas Yod al Roisha, and she put it on her hair because it's good for her hair. He brought the Aiden to show that were happened, basically to say, look what the value for one Issa Shemen is willing to take off her hair. Why should I pay so much? Rabbi Akiva, and he came in front of Rabbi Akiva. He told Rabbi Akiva, Rebbe, my Rebbe, Lezuani Noise and Dalad Moizuz, why should I pay 200 zuz for one Issa she was willing to take off her hair covering? I'm happy to pay one Issa. Why should I pay 400 zuz? Rabbi Akiva told him he didn't say anything, go pay her 400 zuz. He's someone who harms himself. Even though that you're not allowed to harm yourself. And we're going to see in the Gemara why he's still potter, you don't have to pay yourself. But still, if other people harmed him, even though he harms himself, they still have to pay. Very good, you're not allowed to harm yourself. But if you harm yourself and someone harms you, you chayav. If someone cuts his trees, even though that's forbidden because it says in the Torah, and you're not allowed to cut a growing tree with fruit, potter, you can't force him to pay himself. If I cut half my grapes in my vine, and then someone came and did it and cut the other half, you can't say, oh, he cut this half and potter also the other half. No, even though I'm also not allowed to cut my trees down. If I did it, I'm potter, but if someone else cut my trees, he needs to pay. So also Rabbi Akiva says, you need to pay 400 zuz, even though that for one Issa she's willing to embarrass herself. Ibolu, says the Gemara, we have a shaila, when it says mone, it doesn't mean mone tsuri, it's a type of mone that's tsuri tnan or mone medina, or a mone that's used in the Medina, and it's a difference of 8. That means one mone medina is worth 8 mone medina is worth 1 mone tsuri. 1 mone tsuri is worth 8 mone medina. It's 8 times the value. So when it says in the Mishnah you have to pay money, what type do you have to pay? A tsuri type of money or Medina type of money? Toshma, we learned in the Brisa, Da'u Gavra, this man, the Tokale Lechavre, that he blew in the ear of his friend. Also, he came into front of Rabbi Yehuda Anossi. Omalei Hoano Mi, we're going to soon see what that means. Rabbi Yosei Aglili, and Rabbi Yosei Aglili holds Avle Monitsuri, go pay her Monitsuri, and it says clearly that it's a Monitsuri, the higher value, the 8 times the value. Shema Mino, we could see from that price a Monitsuri. Now when it says in the Mishnah Mon, it means Monitsuri, the higher value. Shema Mino, we could see from that, it's a good raya. Okay, very good. So now we know that when it says Mon, it means a Monitsuri, the higher value. Ask the Gemara on this price that we just learned. My Rabbi Yosei Aglili. What does that mean? It's me and Rabbi Yosei Aglili. If it means this is what it means, this is what he told him. I saw you being took care to your friend, and I'm the Dayan, Rabbi Yosei Aglili, and Rabbi Yosei Aglili says the Oma Monitsuri, says the higher value of Monitsuri, Zil Havle Monitsuri, and therefore I'm paskening on you to pay this person a Monitsuri. So the comes out, the Eid Nasa Dayan. The person, the Eid who was over here, Rabbi Yehuda Anossi, you saw the story happening, he could be the Dayan and he could paskin. He himself is paskening the din. He's also the Eid and also the Dayan. Vatanya, we learned in the Brisa, Sanhedrin, the high court of the Jews, Shuro Echad, that they saw Reuven, Shoragas, and Nefesh killing Shimon, Miktsosim Nasu Eidim, so some of them become Eidim. So we say the whole Sanhedrin saw this happen, so 2 of them become Eidim, and Miktsosim, the other part, Nasu Dayanim, they become Dayanim. And the Eidim, the 2 made in front of the Dayanim, and the Dayanim Paskin, that is Chayav Misa. Diva Rab Tarfon, that Shittas Rab Tarfon. Rabbi Akiva Oima, Kulam Eidim Hein. No, anyone who saw is an Eid and he can't be a Dayan. The Ein Eid Nasa Dayan, and Eid can't become a Dayan, and they need to come in front of a different Sanhedrin to paskin. Ad Kanoi Korma Rab Tarfon, till if you're Rabbi Akiva, for sure Eid can't be Dayan. So the Gemara, even Rab Tarfon, Ad Kanoi Korma Rab Tarfon, only over here Rab Tarfon says Elo do Miktsosu Nasu Eidim, that part of the Sanhedrin become an aid, and some of them become a dayan, and the aidim be made in front of the dayanim, and then we paskin. Aval aid nasa dayan, that the aid himself, he paskins, loy kama. He never said that. So how over here Rabbi Yehuda Anossi, who was an aid, became a dayan? Says the Gemara, Kitanyai, the Bryce over there of Tafan and Rabbi Akiva is talking about Kigoin Shuru Balayla. They saw Reuben killing Shimon at night. You can't do a din at night. When a Bezdin sees a Maisa in the day where you could paskin, so they could straight away become a Bezdin, be a Eid and a Dayan, and say straight away, this is a din. You have to pay a monetzuri. Masha'en Kain, in the case of Rab Tarfon and Rabbi Akiva, that was at night, they can't paskin din in the nefashos at night, so they can't paskin straight away is chayv me, so you have to wait till the next day. You need to wait till the next day. In that case, ein eid nasadayin, and you need to put some eidim and some dayonim. A new teretz, a new explanation in the story of Rabbi Yehuda Anossi. This is Rabbi Yehuda Anossi told him, I hold like Rabbi Yosef Glili, who says that you have to give a full money that's worth 8 times of money Medina. And we have Eidim, not me, other Eidim, the Mesadibach, who are made that they saw you doing Toikea Bechaver. Vilhavli, Monetzuri, go pay the Monetzuri that you owe. We have Eidim, and I hold like Rabbi Yosef Glili, that means Monetzuri. Go pay a Monetzuri. Okay, now we're going back to the Braisa we said about Rabbi Akiva, that we said that all the Eidim can't be Dayonim and we need to find other Dayonim. Said the Gemara, Versova Rabbi Akiva, the Ein Eid Nase Dayan, does Rabbi Akiva hold that Eid can't become a Dayan? Vatanya, we learned in the Braisa, the Iko Ish Yisrael Be'even Be'egroif, it's talking about someone killing, and it says he hit his friend with his stone or rock or with his fist. Egroif means his fist, is Egroif. Shimon Atemon Yoima, Shimon the Yemenite, I don't know if that one means over here, Oima Ma'egroif. We darshan, why did it say in the Pasuk if he did it with his fist or with a stone? Ma'egroif Meyuchot is special. Shemos Le'eda Ule'edim, that when we come to Reuben, if Reuben killed Shimon with a fist, now we take Reuben to Bezdin. Bezdin could see Reuben's fist, they could look on his fist and say, ooh, he has a strong fist. It makes sense that his fist killed Shimon. Because if he has a very weak fist, we're going to say that he killed Shimon is because Shimon was weak and that's why he died. It's not because of Reuven. So they need to see if the power of this fist is strong enough to kill someone. So like a fist, the Bezdin could see, af kol, anything that Reuven kills Shimon, and now we're trying to take Reuven to Bezdin. We need that not only the Eidim saw the stone or the knife or whatever it was, also Bezdin should see the knife or the stone that he killed Shimon with. Prat, it's coming to exclude Lecheyotom Tachas Yada Eidim. If the Eidim saw the rock and they come to Bezdin and say, we saw this rock, for sure could kill Shimon. But now we don't have the rock got lost, and Bezdin didn't see the rock. Bezdin can't paskin Misa to Reuven because they never saw the rock. Maybe the rock is not strong enough to kill Shimon. So that's Shita Shimon Atemoni. Omale Rabbi Akiva told Rabbi Akiva to Shimon Atemoni V'chi B'fnei Bezdin Ko. Did the hitting when Reuven killed Shimon, did he hit him in front of Bezdin? Shiyodim Kamoiko, that we know how many times he hit him. Valmaiko, where did he hit him? Imal Shoiko, on his waist, or Al Tzipo Nafshoy, on his heart. Bezdin never saw anything. V'oid, and even more so, Reuven pushed Shimon from the roof, from the top of a tower, Umeis, and Shimon died. Bezdin oilchim etzel bira. Does Bezdin need to go to see this house or this tower to see that it's high enough? Or maybe the house, we schlep the house to the Bezdin to see. It's impossible. Doesn't make sense that Hashem was matriach Bezdin, or you need to build the house by Bezdin that they could see the height. If after Reuven pushed Shimon off the roof, this house fell, do we need to rebuild the house and say, Bezdin, look at the house, I pushed him off? For sure not. So how do Bezdin know all these things? Bezdin trusts the Eidim about everything. Where he hit him, how strong he hit him, was the Keli bad enough to kill him? So we trust the Eidim. So what do we dash from the Pasuk? The Pasuk puts together a punch on a stone. So says Rabbi Akiva, Elo, Ma'agroif, like a punch, miyuchad is special, Shomosel Eidim, that after he punched, the Eidim could see his fist and see if it's strong enough to kill someone. Afkol, anything that Reuven killed Shimon with, Shomosel Eidim, it needs to be that the Eidim saw it. Prat exclude, lekishiyotze even, mitachas yodo, shel makeh, that if Reuven threw a rock on Shimon, and he killed him, and now the Eidim never saw the size of the rock. They saw a rock flying, and the rock fell into a cliff, and we don't know what rock Reuven threw on Shimon. So Eidim can't be made that the rock was big enough to kill Shimon. Maybe it was a small rock. Such a case is potter. But if the Eidim saw the rock, it's good enough, and they could be made in Bezdin, and Bezdin trusts them. Ktoni Mias, it says in this argument between Rabbi Akiva and Shimon HaTeimoni, Omar Rabbi Akiva, the Rabbi Akiva told Shimon HaTeimoni, B'fnei Bezdin Iko, did he hit him in front of Bezdin, Sheyodim Kama Iko, that they know how much he hit them, is mashma. How Iko is mashma if he did Iko b'fneim. If Reuven hit Shimon in front of Bezdin, Eid Na'aseh Dayan. Eid could become a Dayan, it's mashma then, if Reuven killed Shimon in front of Bezdin, the Bezdin could paskin. And we said before, Rabbi Akiva holds that Bezdin can't paskin. If they saw the case, they become Eidim, and we need another Bezdin. So the Gemara Teret, Letvarav, the Rabbi Shimon HaTeimoni, Koma v'lei lo yisvirlei. Rabbi Akiva really holds that if Bezdin sees something, they become Eidim and they can't be Dayonim and they can't paskin, you need another Bezdin. But Shimon HaTeimoni doesn't hold so. So Rabbi Akiva is saying, Lefi your shitta, the Eid becomes Dayan. So does Bezdin need to see every Maisa to paskin on? For sure not. They could be soymech on the Dayanim. So also over here, they could be on the Eidim. So also here, let's be soymech on the Eidim to say how big the rock is, and Bezdin say, oh, it was a 20 centimeter sized rock, that's big enough to kill someone, and we trust the Eidim, and we'll kill Reuven al pi Eidim. Shkoyach.